There are people who live difficult days, and there are people who carry entire deserts within. If you feel that your journey is heavier than others, even trying to do everything right, there may be a deeper explanation. Perhaps you are not everyone. Perhaps you are chosen. Being chosen by God is not a status label. It's a silent calling, an invisible weight that only those who carry it know. It's looking around and realizing that almost no one understands how you feel. It's walking paths where faith must be greater than fear, and God's silence screams louder than any word. This journey doesn't come with a ready-made map, but it has markings, scars that tell stories, pains that are not punishments, but tools. They are like divine refinements on raw stones, difficult, intense, but absolutely necessary to reveal the value within you. And do you know what is most beautiful? It's that these pains are not signs of weakness. On the contrary, they are proof that you are being separated, shaped, and prepared for something much greater. God does not waste suffering. He transforms every tear into purpose. Today, we will dive into 7 real pains that only the chosen face. We are not talking about any type of pain. We are talking about those that no one sees, but that burn inside. Those that make the soul bend, but that also make it stronger, more sensitive, and more connected to heaven. You will realize that you are not alone, that many of the great names in the Bible, those who left eternal marks, also lived exactly what you are experiencing. Every pain, every sacrifice, every weight, everything has a reason. And in due time, everything will make sense. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and allow yourself to feel. Because this video is not just content. It's a hug for your soul, a conversation from spirit to spirit. And if this touches you in any way, if it makes sense inside you, subscribe to the channel. Because there is much more that God wants to reveal to His chosen. 1. The pain of sudden isolation. Suddenly, people start to change with you. Conversations that once flowed now seem forced. Those who said they would always be around disappear. And you're left trying to understand, what did I do wrong? Yet sometimes, it's not about what you did. It's about who you are becoming. Isolation hurts. You can't pretend it doesn't. It's strange to see friendships cooling, invitations ending, and even family distancing themselves. It feels like, overnight, you've become someone difficult to deal with, even without changing your essence. But here's the point. Your essence is changing. You are being separated, not rejected. There's something in you aligning with heaven, and that naturally distances you from what no longer fits this new season. Jesus lived this, yes, the Son of God Himself. When He returned to His hometown, people didn't believe He could be someone special. "Isn't this the carpenter's son?" they said, as if knowing Him before negated what He carried. And look, even Jesus' own brothers doubted Him at first. This shows us that isolation can come even from those closest to you. Sometimes those who spend the most time with you are the ones who can't see what God is doing in your life. Sudden isolation is not punishment. It is a divine strategy. God is pulling you into a place where external voices no longer drown out His. He needs your silence to reveal things that only the Spirit understands. Things that don't fit in any environment. This distancing may seem unfair, but it is protection. There are connections that, if they continued, would hold you back. There are people who wouldn't understand your process. And worse, they could sabotage it without even realizing. That's why God cuts. He separates. You weren't made to fit anywhere. There is a calling inside of you that disturbs the environment. And that makes some people distance themselves, not out of malice, but out of spiritual incompatibility. It's like trying to tune 2 different radios to the same channel. It doesn't work. You can cry. You can miss them. But don't forget, God is closer now than ever. He sees every tear. He understands this emptiness, and He will fill every space left by those who left. Use this time to dig deeper. Talk more with God. Read, listen, write. Allow your soul to connect with heaven in a way that only silence permits. Isolation is the field where great revelations are born. Perhaps no one understands you right now. But in time, many will seek what they currently despise. Because when God finishes molding a chosen one, He presents them to the world in a way that no one can ignore. The process hurts, but the transformation is real. And what is to come is greater than everything that has been left behind. Stay strong. You are not being cast aside. You are being kept, separated. And this, as lonely as it may seem now, is a sign that you have been called to something great. 2. The pain of purposeful loneliness. Even surrounded by people, you feel a void that no one can fill. The routine seems colorless, and conversations lack depth. Carrying a purpose that few understand can make the soul feel lonely. It's like living with a secret that weighs, yet simultaneously brings light. The feeling of being unique comes with an unexpected burden. While many live the superficiality of the days, you feel the calling of something greater. This feeling can push friends and acquaintances away, who cannot see the reason for your different shine. Thus, isolation becomes a constant companion. You realize that your ideas and convictions don't align with most. While others settle for the obvious, your search is for something transcendent. This discrepancy creates an invisible barrier, making genuine connection with those around you difficult. And this distancing feeds the loneliness of purpose. The story of Jeremiah shows us what it's like to walk with a truth that few accept. Called to prophesy amid his own nation, he felt the weight of being the only one who saw beyond. His words, which were meant to illuminate, made him feel isolated in a sea of indifference and misunderstanding. The hearts of the chosen know what this loneliness is about. It is not a product of ego, but of the deep understanding of a different destiny. Living with this burden is realizing that the truth often discomforts, distancing those who are not ready to hear it. This loneliness is, at the same time, painful and revealing. In facing this pain, it is important to recognize that the void is not a punishment. It is the space where new visions can be born. Within this loneliness lies an invitation to connect with something greater, to find strength in one's own essence, and to open up to a silent dialogue with the divine. Every moment of loneliness strengthens your journey. It is in this period that teachings deepen, and the heart prepares to transform reality. The pain of purposeful loneliness becomes the fertile ground where faith blossoms. Even when the world seems distant and indifferent, you may feel alone, but know that this journey is reserved for those who carry a special calling. The emptiness you feel is the prelude to a deeper connection with truth and with God. Your path, although solitary, is filled with lessons and a beauty that few can understand. 3. The pain of inner conflict. There is a war that no one sees, but it consumes you from within. It's the struggle between who you want to be and what still insists on appearing in your thoughts, attitudes, and reactions. It's pushing yourself harder than you should, blaming yourself more than you deserve, and still feeling like you're not managing. Inner conflict is a silent pain. It has no face, no name. But it's there every day, messing with your mind, shaking your faith, and making you question whether you're even worthy of having been chosen. Why do I still think this? Why do I still make these mistakes? You ask yourself, embarrassed. But do you know what this reveals? That you are spiritually alive. Because those who don't feel this discomfort have already given up fighting. And you haven't. You still care. You still want to please God. You still feel sad when you realize you've stumbled. This is a sign that the Spirit still moves you. The Apostle Paul understood this better than anyone. He wrote something that echoes even today in the hearts of the chosen. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep on doing. Romans 7:19. Even being one of the greatest men of God in history, he also fought internal battles. This pain hurts because it feels like you are going in circles. It seems like you are not evolving. But the truth is that every battle won, every thought overcome, every reaction restrained, all of these are signs of growth. It may be slow, but it is real. And heaven sees every step. You are not weak. You are in process. You are being shaped. God does not demand perfection. He demands surrender. He doesn't expect you not to feel, but that you learn to give him everything you feel. Because only he can transform the chaos within into true peace. The internal conflict does not disqualify you. In fact, it reveals that there is a light within you, fighting against the darkness that the world tried to leave behind. And this light, as small as it may seem now, still shines. And it will continue to shine. Because those who are chosen do not give up easily. Little by little, you will learn to live in peace, even in the midst of battle. You will understand that the process is part of the purpose. That every time you choose God in the midst of doubt, you are winning a war that no one saw, but heaven celebrated. Top 4. The pain of renunciation. Renouncing is not just giving up something. It is giving up something you love, something you wanted, something that was part of your plans. And that hurts, because many times what you let go of is not bad. It just no longer fits with what God is building in you. Have you ever felt like you always need to give in? Letting go of old friendships, places that made you feel good, dreams that seemed certain. This feeling of always losing something can weigh you down over time. It seems unfair. It feels lonely. It feels like you're always swimming against the current. But what no one sees is what you are guarding in silence. No one understands the kind of love required to let go of something in obedience. Not because you wanted to, but because your spirit understood that continuing there would keep you away from what is eternal. Abraham lived this. God asked him to leave his land, his family, his comfort, and he went. Then God asked for something even harder, Isaac, his son. Imagine a father's heart hearing this. But Abraham trusted. And in the end, God didn't want the death of the son. He wanted the surrender of the heart. Those who are chosen will, sooner or later, go through the valley of renunciation. And it's not easy. There is no renunciation without pain. But there is also no renunciation without purpose. Because when God asks for something, it is because he is about to give something much greater. This pain has a taste of emptiness. It brings nostalgia for what is left behind. Sometimes it even brings doubt. Did I do the right thing? But over time, the Spirit confirms within you that yes, you did the right thing. Because each renunciation aligns you more with heaven and less with the world. Letting go is not losing. It's trusting. It's making room for the new. It's showing God that he is above even the good things you could have. That your priority is not the now. It is the eternal. And whoever chooses the eternal reaps the extraordinary. Sometimes it will seem like you are falling behind. That others are achieving, living, celebrating, and you are just letting go. But stay strong, because what God has to give is not momentary. It is transformative, and it will reach generations, not just your now. Those who learn to renounce with love receive abundantly. This pain is part of the refining process of the chosen. And when everything makes sense, you will look back with gratitude, not with regret. 5. The pain of long waiting. Waiting is one of the hardest things for someone who has a living promise in their heart, especially when everything around seems stagnant. You pray, believe, dream, but time passes, and nothing changes. And then the heart begins to waver, the mind enters into conflict, and even faith seems to want to doze off. The pain of waiting is not just about patience, it's about trust. Because deep down, long waiting tests the root of your faith. It tests whether you are with God for the results or for His presence, whether you stand firm even when heaven is silent and the scenery remains the same, day after day. Sometimes the wait is so long that it seems like you misunderstood. You start to question whether you heard correctly, whether it was just excitement, whether the promise was really for you. Prolonged time creates space for doubt to grow. And therein lies the real challenge. Joseph lived this. He had a great dream given by God at a young age, but he was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, imprisoned unjustly, and forgotten. Years passed. The dream seemed buried, but God had not forgotten. He was just shaping the heart of a future governor within the walls of a prison. The long wait teaches us to trust even without signs. It teaches us to keep serving, even when nothing blooms. It is during this time that character is refined, pride is broken, and faith stops being a beautiful feeling and becomes a firm decision made day after day. There is nothing more painful than seeing everyone around you receiving, advancing, achieving, while you are still there, stuck in the same place. It seems unfair, right? But the chosen learn that God's timing is different from human timing. And when He moves, nothing remains the same. The wait also reveals intentions. Sometimes, you think you are ready, but you still act out of impulse, fear, or anxiety. And God, as a caring Father, will not give something great to someone who has not yet learned to take care of the small things. That's why He waits. And in the meantime, He works in silence. God's silence is not absence. It is construction. While you think nothing is happening, heaven is moving pieces you can't even imagine. People, places, situations, everything is being adjusted for the exact fulfillment of the promise. God does not make mistakes with timing. He just waits for the right time. And when it comes, everything changes at once. What seemed like lost time becomes a testimony. Tears become fuel. The faith that once seemed weak shows its strength. And what is born after a long time of waiting comes with deep roots, because it was conceived in pain and trust. If you are in this time now, breathe. You are not forgotten. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. And this wait, which seems like punishment, is actually care. Because what God has for you is too great to be delivered carelessly, at any stage. This pain, no matter how long it seems, is temporary. But the fruits of it, those will be eternal. The pain of not fitting in. There are moments when, even surrounded by people, you feel out of place, as if there is something different about you. It is not arrogance or superiority. It is just a strange feeling that that environment no longer nourishes you. That inside, you are on a different rhythm, another level, another calling. You participate in conversations, smile at gatherings, even try to fit in. But it's as if your soul is asking for something deeper. And this is not something that can be easily explained. Because on the surface, everything seems normal. But inside there is a discomfort, an unrest that doesn't pass. This pain hurts because it makes you doubt yourself. Am I too complicated? Am I isolating myself without realizing it? But, in fact, this feeling of not belonging is one of the most subtle marks of someone who has been separated by God for something different. Elijah went through this. Even after winning a great spiritual battle, he felt alone. In a moment of weariness and discouragement, he cried out, "I am the only one left." 1 Kings 19:10. He felt out of place even among God's people, as if no one truly understood him. This feeling can arise anywhere, inside the church, in your family, at your workplace. And it brings with it a weight. You start to silence yourself, retreat, and hold back what you feel. Because speaking seems useless, and explaining seems impossible. But this inner loneliness has a greater purpose. Not fitting in is often the way God uses to protect you. He doesn't want you to settle in places that will not lead you to your destiny. That's why He creates this discomfort, so that you don't stay where you shouldn't, so that you continue seeking more. You are not broken. You are being awakened. While many are spiritually asleep, you are hearing a calling that comes from within. A calling that will not let you be still or comfortable until you are exactly where God wants to use you. This pain, though lonely, is a sign that you are in motion. You are growing, maturing, aligning with heaven. And this process naturally separates you from shallow places, from empty conversations, from purposeless connections, because the chosen were not made to blend in. They were made to illuminate. Stay strong, even when it seems difficult. The fact that you do not fit in is proof that you were born to be the answer, not a repetition. You are part of something greater. And soon, all of this will make sense. 7. The pain of unjust opposition. Few things hurt as much as being misunderstood when you only wanted to do good. Being criticized for shining. Being attacked for standing firm. When you choose to live with purpose, you will soon realize the more light you carry, the more it bothers those who live in the shadows. You act with heart, give with truth, walk with faith. But still, comments, judgments, and disapproving looks arise. Sometimes they come from strangers. Other times the blow comes from those you least expect. And then your heart tightens. Why are they against me when I did nothing? This is the pain of unjust opposition. It comes when you decide not to be silent, not to sell out, not to become corrupt. When you take a stand, you naturally attract reactions. And this hurts, because you are not looking for confrontation. You just want to follow what God placed within you. All this while being faithful. The price of carrying an anointing is high, and often it is unjust in the eyes of humans. This opposition comes to try to silence you, to make you doubt who you are. But it is also a spiritual thermometer, because no one is persecuted for being still. The enemy does not attack what is dead. He attacks what threatens, and you, chosen one, are a threat to the kingdom of darkness. The pain of opposition shows that you are on the right path. It shows that your voice is echoing, that your stance is disturbing what is false, shallow, superficial. It's as if your presence exposes what many prefer to hide. And that is why the attack comes. But do not be silent. Do not retreat. Do not conform to what the world wants. Stay strong. Because just like David, you do not need to defend yourself. God sees everything, and He will justify each of your choices. He will exalt you in due time. He will honor every tear shed in silence. This pain also strengthens you. It removes illusions. It makes you depend less on the approval of men and more on the direction of God. And the more you learn to walk, even when wounded, the more prepared you become to carry the purpose entrusted to you. Don't be fooled. Opposition is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of impact. And every chosen one, sooner or later, will go through this. But they will come out stronger, more mature, more like Christ, who was also rejected, pursued, and yet overcame. You are not being attacked for nothing. You are being refined in the fire of resistance. And your faithfulness, even in the face of injustice, will be your greatest weapon. Being chosen is not a trophy of honor. It is an invitation to sacrifice. But every sacrifice hides a purpose. Every pain you face is a divine tool. Every tear shed in secret is being seen. Every abandonment, every renunciation, every silence is shaping you for something great. You are not weak. You are not strange. You are part of a people that God has set apart, and everything you are facing now will make sense when the promise is fulfilled. Keep going. Persevere. Resist. The furnace that presses you today will reveal the gold that was hidden within you. And in due time, everyone will see what God was doing in the dark.